The 1992 unrest in Los Angeles, commonly known as the 1992 Los Angeles Uprising, was a series of civil disturbances that transpired in Los Angeles County, California, USA during April and May 1992. The turmoil originated in south-central Los Angeles on April 29, following the acquittal of 4 Los Angeles Police Department officers who had been charged in the arrest and beating of Rodney King. The incident was captured on video by George Holliday, a bystander, and widely broadcast in various news and media outlets. 6 days of widespread riots erupted across multiple areas in the Los Angeles metropolitan region following the verdict announcement. Thousands engaged in looting, assault, and arson, challenging local law enforcement. The crisis was quelled by deploying over 10,000 armed first responders, including the California National Guard, U.S. military, and federal law enforcement. The unrest resulted in 63 deaths, 2,383 injuries, over 12,000 arrests, and $1 billion in property damage. The LAPD under Chief Darrell Gates faced frequent complaints of harassment and excessive force from minority communities, particularly targeting African Americans. Operation Hammer, initiated in 1987, intensified militarized sweeps in minority neighborhoods, leading to mass arrests and increased police brutality complaints. Tensions between African American and Korean American communities escalated, culminating in the 1991 killing of Latasha Harlins by a Korean storekeeper. The Rodney King incident occurred on March 3, 1991, when LAPD and CHP officers arrested King after a high-speed pursuit. Officers used excessive force, including a taser, bait and strikes, and kicks. Video footage captured by a civilian, George Holliday, exposed the brutality and garnered widespread media attention. King's prior criminal history and the controversial trial further fueled public outrage and contributed to the volatile atmosphere leading up to the 1992 riots. On day 1, April 29, the 4 accused LAPD officers were acquitted by Judge Stanley Weisberg at 3:15 p.m. And by 3:45 p.m., a crowd of over 300 people protested the verdicts. Meanwhile, at afternoon, the group approached the Payless Liquor and Deli, smashing the glass front door and hitting the store owner's son with a beer bottle. At 5:50 p.m., 2 LAPD officers were attacked while pursuing a suspect, leading to the arrival of 24 officers and a hostile crowd. The crowd moved to Florence and Normandy, turning violent and assaulting a photographer and a truck driver. Larry Tarvin, a white truck driver, was pulled from his vehicle and brutally beaten by a group of men, rendering him unconscious and his truck looted. Also, Reginald Denny, a white construction worker, was pulled from his truck and severely beaten by a group of black men. The televised attack left Denny with significant injuries requiring years of rehabilitative therapy. Fidel Lopez, a self-employed construction worker from Guatemala, was brutally assaulted by rioters. The assailants robbed him of $2,000, smashed his forehead open with a car stereo, and attempted to slice off his ear. After Lopez lost consciousness, the rioters spray-painted his chest, torso, and genitals black. Fortunately, he was rescued by Reverend Benny Newton, a black man who boldly confronted the rioters. On April 29, 1992, Damian Williams, a 15-year-old African-American boy, was shot and killed by a Korean shopkeeper during the 1992 Los Angeles riots. Williams was walking with his friends in South Los Angeles when they were stopped by the shopkeeper, who accused them of stealing. An argument ensued, and the shopkeeper pulled out a gun and shot Williams. The unrest spread rapidly throughout south-central Los Angeles, affecting neighborhoods like Crenshaw, Hyde Park, Jefferson Park, West Adams, Westmont, Green Meadows, historic South Central, Florence, Willowbrook, Florence Graham, and Watts. There were factors contributing to the severity of the rioting, which are: the busy intersection of Florence and Normandy remained open to traffic, allowing the rioting to spread unchecked. Gun stores in the area were not properly secured, leading to the theft of over 1,100 guns. A citywide tactical alert was not issued until 6:43 p.m., delaying the arrival of reinforcements. The lack of a swift and decisive police response emboldened the rioters and allowed the violence to escalate. On day 2, Thursday, April 30, Mayor Bradley declared a state of emergency and implemented a dusk-to-dawn curfew for the areas affected by the riots. The violence spread beyond south-central Los Angeles Koreatown, and 3rd Street and Olympic Boulevard was particularly hard hit by the riots. Korean immigrants had settled in the area in the 1960s, establishing many successful businesses. As the riots intensified, roads leading to Koreatown were blocked by police, effectively isolating the neighborhood. Korean residents organized their own armed security teams to protect their businesses from looters. The lack of law enforcement response led to significant damage to Korean-owned businesses, accounting for half of the total $850 million in damages caused by the riots. The California Army National Guard was called up to deploy 2,000 soldiers. However, due to equipment shortages, it could not reach the city until nearly 24 hours later. On day 3, the major rioting subsided in the early morning. Governor Wilson requested federal assistance, and President Bush invoked the Insurrection Act, federalizing the California Army National Guard. 10,000 Army National Guard troops and 1,000 federal tactical officers were deployed to Los Angeles. President Bush addressed the nation, condemning the violence and outlining the federal assistance being provided. Due to safety concerns, the post office announced that it would not be delivering mail in Los Angeles. Numerous entertainment and sporting events were postponed or canceled due to the unrest. By the end of Friday night, all remaining smaller riots had been completely quelled. On day 4, 3,500 federal troops arrived in Los Angeles, marking the first significant military occupation of the city since the 1894 Pullman strike. This brought the total number of troops in Los Angeles to 13,500, making it the largest military occupation of any U.S. city since the 1968 Washington, D.C. riots. With the situation largely under control, 30,000 people attended an 11 a.m. peace rally in Koreatown to support local merchants and promote racial healing. On day 5, May 3, Mayor Bradley assured the public that the crisis was under control as the city became more peaceful. That night, however, Army National Guard soldiers shot and killed a motorist who attempted to run them over at a barricade. Despite the lifting of the curfew and the official end of the riots, sporadic violence and crime continued for several days afterward. Schools, banks, and businesses gradually reopened. Federal troops remained in place until May 9, while the Army National Guard remained until May 14. Some National Guard soldiers stayed as late as May 27. The 1992 riots had a devastating impact on the Korean American community. About 2,300 Korean-owned stores in Southern California were looted or burned, accounting for 45% of all damages caused by the riots. Many Korean Americans suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder, experiencing symptoms such as insomnia, helplessness, and muscle pain. According to a 1993 report by the Latinos Futures Research Group for the Latino Coalition for a New Los Angeles, 1/3 of those who were killed and 1/2 of those who were arrested in the riots were Latinos. Between 20 and 40% of the businesses that were looted were owned by Latinos. Many who lived in the area were new immigrants and not yet able to speak English. Hollywood was not spared from unrest. According to the Association of Motion Picture and Television Producers, the riots caused an estimated $500 million in losses to the entertainment industry. Paramount Pictures, Warner Bros., and Universal Pictures were among the studios that were forced to shut down their operations during the riots. John Singleton was the director of the 1991 film Boys in the Hood. Singleton was a vocal critic of the riots, but he also expressed understanding for the anger and frustration that led to them. In an interview with Vibe magazine, Singleton said, "I understand the anger, but I don't condone the violence. We've got to find a better way." Ice-T was a popular rapper in the early 1990s, and his music often addressed themes of social injustice and police brutality. In 1992, Ice-T released the song Cop Killer, which was highly controversial. The song was accused of inciting violence against police officers, and it was banned from many radio stations. Spike Lee is a filmmaker who has been outspoken about racial injustice throughout his career. In 1992, Lee released the film Malcolm X, which tells the story of the civil rights leader Malcolm X. The film was released just months after the Rodney King riots, and it resonated with many viewers who were grappling with issues of race and violence. In the aftermath of the riots, an inquiry was launched by the City Police Commission, led by William H. Webster, Special Advisor, and Hubert Williams, Deputy Special Advisor, President of the Police Foundation. In the wake of the riots, LAPD Chief of Police Daryl Gates was forced to resign on June 28, 1992. If you liked the video, please subscribe to our channel.